Greetings. I'm going to be walking through the payment processing flow in the estate system. So starting on the left-hand side with the green start, there'll be some back and forth with the vendor member and the project owner on the bid request or the offer. Once this has been accepted by the project owner, the last step will be the final acceptance from the vendor member. Once this happens, then the system will send out a message to the project members to fund the escrow amount per the amount of the accepted job. So whatever the final accepted amount was for the job, that would be the amount that would need to be funded into the escrow account. So the next step in the red here is the project member would effectively fund the escrow account per the agreed upon amount. And they would do that through the payment method they had set up under their account. Once they take this action, ultimately the escrow account is credited or increased. And then a message is, once this is done, a message is sent to the project and vendor members that the escrow account has been funded. So now a couple of things can occur. So let me just move down here a bit. So a couple things could occur after this initial funding has taken place. The job could be canceled for whatever reason. So here we go into the step. Is the job canceled, yes or no? Let's go down the yes path. If the job is canceled, then the job is canceled in the system. Cancellation message is sent to the project and vendor members. The project member who funds the escrow account would receive a credit back for the amount that they funded the escrow account on. And then a message would be sent to the funding project member that credited the account that the credit has been issued. And at this point, that's really the end of this, at the end of this process, unless they, the same service is added to the same project. So now going back to the top, if a job is not canceled, then the next thing that can occur in the process flow is if there is a change order made. If there's no change order, then we continue on to the right. If there is a change order, then we would ask, is there a change in the job cost? Was there a net increase or decrease in the job cost because of the change in the job cost? If not, then we essentially continue on. Maybe the terms are a bit different in the change order, but in this case, there's no change in the actual cost, so we then continue on. Now, if there is a change in the job cost because of the change order, then we need to look and see, well, is there an increase? Was the scope increased, or effectively was the scope decreased? So if there was an increase in the job cost, then a message is sent to the project members to add funds to the escrow account for the increased amount because of the change order. Project member adds the fund to the escrow account is increased, and then a message is sent to the project and the vendor members that the escrow account has been increased per the change order. And then from this, we essentially go back into this loop, and start here as the job cancels, because the job could be canceled at this point. There could be another change order. Now, if because of the change order, the job cost is decreased, then the escrow account would automatically be decreased by whatever the decrease amount would be to the project owner that funded the account, and then a message would be sent to the project and vendor members that the escrow account has been decreased. And again, we go back then into this flow. So now, as we continue along, once all the work has been completed, or the job has been completed in the eyes of the vendor member, then the vendor member essentially updates the system that the job has been completed. When they do this, a message is sent to the project and vendor members the job's been completed. And here I'm looking at changing the status of the job or what have you, as to like basically completed by the vendor, but it's pending review by the project owner. Uh, the project member or project owner verifies that the service has been completed to satisfaction. Um, and then we look and see, is it completed to satisfaction? Yes or no. If it's not completed to satisfaction, the vendor member changes, uh, indicates this in the system, and maybe the status is incomplete or unapproved or something like that. So basically, something in the system that changes the status, sends a message to the project or the service provider that they basically need to, um, do whatever they need to do to complete the job to satisfaction. Once they do that, then we go back into this flow, um, you know, that, you know, the job has been completed, and then we check to see, the vendor member or the project member checks to see if it's completed to satisfaction. In this case, if it has been completed to satisfaction, then we go down this path right here. And let me just continue on, where the project member changes the project status to something like a completed approved. Um, and then the project member, this could be the step that kicks out payment, or we might have a separate step after they call it completed approved that the project member needs to go in, to actually approve payment. So payment is made, and then the message that goes out. Actually, probably we should have another box here that a message is sent out that the project has been, or the job's been paid for, and then the payment status of the product is set to paid, and then we hit the end. Thank you.